A while back, I promised I'd do a deeper dive on Dan Harmon's Story Circle and Save the Cat, two of the most used storytelling frameworks out there. Now, they're especially popular in screenwriting, but honestly, you'll see these baked into books, TikTok shorts, video games, you name it. To make this easy to follow, I'll walk you through each one using clear examples from movies that illustrate what the beats actually mean, even if you've never seen the film. So let's jump into it. First up is Dan Harmon's Story Circle. Now, Harmon is a TV writer. He created Rick and Morty and The Community. He basically simplified Joseph Campbell's hero's journey into 8 beats. Now, his goal was basically just to make stories more character-focused and emotionally satisfying. So the big idea is that it's all about change. Your character is going to start off in their comfort zone, they get pulled out of their comfort zone, they learn something, they face challenges, and then they come back transformed. Of course, I'm going to use The Matrix to explain this, but even if you haven't seen the movie and you've been living under a rock, I'll still explain it so it makes sense. So the first beat is you. This is when the character's in their normal everyday life. Now in The Matrix, we meet Neo, a guy working a boring office job by day and a hacker by night. Now it's clear that Neo doesn't like his life, but it's familiar. He's found some type of comfort in his own misery. And that's key, because this is where the story starts. The characters in their normal, boring, everyday life. The second beat is the need. This is when the character wants something. Now, Neo doesn't know what's wrong, but he does know something's wrong. He's got an itch that he just can't seem to scratch. And that itch is the world around him doesn't feel like it's real. So he starts searching for this mysterious thing called the Matrix, and that's what kicks off the story. The third beat is go, and that's when your character enters in an unfamiliar situation. Now, Neo meets a guy named Morpheus who gives him a choice: go back to his old life or find out the truth. Neo chooses the truth, takes a red pill, and wakes up in a dystopian future where machines have taken over the world. His old world is now a total illusion. He's now in a terrifying reality. Basically, this is the part where he's in an unfamiliar place. The fourth beat is search, and this is when the characters try to figure things out. Neo now has to learn how this whole new world works. He trains, he fights, and he tries to wrap his head around this digital simulation called the Matrix. He's clearly out of his depth, but he's adapting. Number 5 is find, and this is where the character gets what they wanted. So Neo starts unlocking powers inside the Matrix, bending the rules, dodging bullets, and becoming someone special. It's at this point that he's actually starting to believe that he is the one, a prophesized hero. The 6th beat is called take, and this is where your character pays a cost for getting what they wanted. Just when everything is looking good, everything falls apart. Morpheus, his mentor, is captured, and Neo now has to risk everything to save him, and he literally dies trying to do that. This is where Neo finds out that being the one comes with a price. The 7th beat is called return. This is when your character goes back to the original world. So this is where Neo returns to the Matrix, but this time he's not running. This is where he grows some balls and he mans up. He walks back into that same simulation, but now he sees it for what it really is. The fake world hasn't changed, but Neo has. The 8th beat is called change, and this is where your character has now transformed. Now Neo fully believes in himself. He doesn't just play by the rules of the Matrix, he breaks them. This is where he becomes the hero he was meant to be. Same world, new mindset. So the reason the story circle works is because it focuses on how your character grows, not just what actually happens in the story. It's perfect for any story where your character goes through some type of internal change, even if it's a 5-minute short film. Next up is Save the Cat, and I saved this one for last for a reason. I'll get to that in a second. But this technique comes from screenwriter Blake Snyder, and it helps you break down your story into 15 specific story beats to help you focus on your pacing and the actual structure. Save the Cat is good for keeping your structure tight and your audience invested. With that being said, it is one of the most overused books in Hollywood, and that's kind of because it works in a sense. But like any tool, it only helps you if you use it wisely. We'll walk through it and use Minority Report this time, a sci-fi thriller where a cop is accused of committing a future murder, even though he hasn't done it yet. Again, don't worry if you haven't seen it yet, I'll make it make sense. Now the first beat in Save the Cat is called the opening image. This is where you show the status quo. Now, the movie opens by showing how the future works. A special police force uses psychics called precogs to predict murders and stop them before they happen. It looks futuristic and perfect. The second beat is called theme stating. This is where you show what your movie is actually about. Early on in the movie Minority Report, the main character, John, who's a detective, debates whether people can actually change their future, or if it's all set in stone. This sets up the whole theme, free will versus fate. The third beat is the setup. This is where you show the hero's world. This is where we see John actually working the system and using the precogs and all of the physics in order to stop crime. John actually believes in this system real heavy, and he's vested in it. He's actually good at his job too, and everything seems to work on the surface. Now the fourth beat is called the catalyst. This is the big disruption in your character's life. In Minority Report, the precogs predict that John himself will commit a murder. Not in theory, but in 36 hours. So John does what anybody would do. He panics and he runs. At this point, his whole belief system has been flipped upside down and turns on him. The fifth beat is debate. In Minority Report, this is where he asks, should he run? So at this point, John is confused and torn. Can he prove his innocence? Does he have a shot at maybe saying that the precogs have got it wrong this time when they've got it right every other time? Is he even capable of killing someone? He questions everything. He's literally debating. The sixth act is called Break Into Two. This is where John decides to fight back. He breaks into the system, kidnaps one of the precogs, one of the psychics that are used to predict crime, and then he goes on the run in order to find out who framed him. So the seventh beat is called B story. It's where you show an emotional side. This is the part of the movie where, while on the run, John develops a bond with Agatha, who's the precog. And this is the heart of the story because it shows the emotional side of everything. Through her, he learns how to see people, not just their crimes. This is the part where he learns empathy and trust. Number 8 is called the fun and games. This is the promise of the premise for the most part. This is going to be where all of the cool stuff happens. Typically, you'll see these type of moments inside the trailer. In Minority Report, this is where the movie flexes all of the futuristic tech, the chase scenes, eye transplants. It's intense, it's weird, and it's fun. But through all of this, John is still trying to figure things out, even though cool things are actually happening. The 9th beat is called the midpoint. It's the major twist. This is where John learns there may be a minority report, which is a second possible future that contradicts the first prediction. And this is where he starts to question. The system that he believed in so blindly maybe is flawed. Maybe the system isn't perfect after all. The 10th beat is called the bad guys close in, and this is basically when everything gets worse. Now, the people that John once worked with, the people that used to go out with him and hunt people and arrest them, are now hunting him. He's getting closer to the truth, but it's more dangerous than ever. The 11th beat is called All Is Lost. This is where everything is total defeat. John is caught, and the system that he once believed in has now flipped on him and won. He's about to be locked away for a murder he didn't even commit yet. He's getting a taste of his own medicine. The 12th beat is called Dark Night of the Soul. This is the emotional low point. While he's in custody, John just doubts everything. Was he wrong to run? Was the system right about this? He's lost, he's broken, he's questioning who he really is. The 13th beat is called Break Into 3. It's the final push. This is where John finds new evidence, escapes again, and finds out who really set him up. The difference here is that he's not running anymore, he's going to end this. And the 14th beat is the finale. This is where John confronts the real villain, exposes the flaw in the system, and dismantles the entire program. By all accounts, he wins. Not just by surviving, but by changing everything. The 15th beat is the final image. It's a contrast from the beginning, which was the opening image. We end with a much quieter and simpler John. No longer a cop, no more future predictions, just a man living in the present with real choices. So now that you understand Dan Harmon's story circle and Save the Cat, which one should you use? And like everything, it all depends. Use the story circle when you want to focus on your character's emotional transformation. Use Save the Cat when you want to focus on beats, structure, pacing, and plotting out your scene. But keep this in mind, you don't have to choose between the two. You can use both. Whether you're writing a screenplay, a novel, or even a killer TikTok script, keep in mind that these frameworks are tools, not rules. They're meant to help you tell better stories, not force you into a box. Peace.